Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
By doing that, just as a coach, I always wanted to get better, and I always wanted to grow as a coach. I just have this mindset is you can't be a great coach or a good coach if you're not open to learning. And also, too, you got to change. I can't think of his name right now, but he's the new head coach at SMU and a boys basketball coach. And he came and spoke at one of our professional developments for basketball coaches in Dallas ISD. And I asked him, I said, Coach, I raised my hand. I said, Coach, I have a question. And he was like, yeah, Coach, go ahead. I said, are you open to changing your offensive philosophy to cater to the players that you have for that year? He said, Coach, that's a really good question. He said, when I was at Florida Gulf Coast, we were running and gunning, throwing alley-oops, shooting threes, playing at a high pace. He said the next year, man, I had some grad transfers come in over the next 2 years. And he said, guess what? They were traditional post guys, but they can go get you 18 and 19 tonight. He said, so guess what we were doing? Throwing it down in there to them. He said, we tried to do, play fast and, really push the ball. About time they crossed half court, the ball was coming right back. He said, so it wasn't benefiting them. So, and that's what I just had to say to myself sometimes, you have to be open to change as a coach. All players are different. You have to coach them sometimes differently. You can have a standard on towards your expectations of them, but sometimes you may have to pull them to the side and talk to them. But I always say this, if you establish what their role is on the team early, because the guys kind of think I'm kind of crazy, and I tell them I'm OCD. Every day after we get through lifting weights, I ask them, what's their role? I go down the list. What's your role? What's your role? What's your role? And the reason why I do that is when you're in the car with your mom and dad and y'all have those discussions, you can tell what's your role and what is the team identity. I say, if you do those things, I don't have to worry about having parent meetings.
Yeah.
I don't, because you've already told them. But I know that's going to happen, and that's part of it. And and just to piggyback off parent meetings, I've always had this philosophy. When they interviewed me for the Madison job, they asked me, how would I handle a parent meeting? I said, I want all kids to play. I'm not in the business to stop kids from playing. But one thing that I want your child to be is successful when he gets in. I don't want him to get in and he's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or he feels like he's hurting the team. Every kid wants to play, but I want him to be able to put him in to where he's joyful about the time that he got. And he also got a chance to do what? Enjoy it and play hard. But if I'm just putting players in the game, just say I'm playing 15 guys a night, winning is important. I said, but this isn't AAU where you're paying to play. This isn't Pop Warner. This right here, you have to try out for your high school team. You have to try out. So the expectations are there. And I talk to these guys about that all the time. If you want to play more, do something so I can keep you on the court. That's all I ask. And then guess what? I tell them these three things. If you can make a wide open shot, you can defend, and you can make the right pass, it's really hard for me to take you off the court and rebound.
Good recipe right there. Yeah.
And I say nothing said about what creating a shot. It's about making the open. If you're open, you can make it.
You mean I don't have to put it down 15 times and then go?
Oh, man, I blow the whistle. So even they do open gym every day. They play and I'm just sitting in the stands watching it. And once I get fed up, I blow the whistle and just say, hey man, 3 dribbles. Y'all just do 3. Do 3.
Yeah.
I can't stand to watch that,
Yes.
Because no one's the defense is just sitting there looking at you like, what are you going to do? And then guess what? You're getting tired. I learned my lesson as a sophomore in varsity starting. I was so tired and my head coach was like, man, you're dribbling the air out of the ball. You're tired. advance the ball. Advance it. So when I started advancing it, I saw in the fourth quarter, the last 3 minutes, I had a lot more energy left versus pounding on the ball, bringing it up the whole time, wanting to constantly have the ball in my hand versus trusting my teammates and letting them make plays too.
I want our guys to do easy things and to stay away from hard. And I always ask them, what's harder? One attack move where you're decisive and you either take that advantage or transfer, or multiple counters back and forth. And they're like, the simple, or the one move. And I was like, yeah, what you're doing seems hard. And then I try to explain to them too, hard typically turns to turnovers, becomes a turnover, a missed opportunity, or a tough shot. Like, so yeah, choosing easy is definitely something we have to emphasize. And Coach, you really went through like 3 or 4 great things that I don't want to miss out on. I want to go back. So first is you talked to the SMU coach about, are you willing to change? Phenomenal question that you asked him. And if you would have talked to me let's be honest, 6 or 7 years ago, I would have said, no, I'm not going to change what I do for my players. They're going to have to figure it out. And the danger of system versus concepts. If you are system-based, this is like my 3 years in college. First 3 years, we ran flex. And it didn't matter who we were or what we had. We had Lawrence Roberts. He was a pro, and we ran flex. And the only way we ever got him the ball on the block is if I saw the switch and I cut flex off and I dribbled back over and I entered it in. But you can run that system and you can be stubborn, or you can have concepts. And concepts, the great thing about it is concepts can flow in and out of different continuities, different ways of playing. So a concept for us is the open man must receive the ball. It sounds really simple, but you and I both are like, as a coach, do you not see him? He's right there. Like you hear those things all the time, or players and parents pointing at a guy. Well, is the concept in your program that he is the most dangerous? If he's not, if that's not talked about, then a player's going to rather pound it than move it to that dangerous open player. But that concept right there, Coach, I don't care what you run. Forget, hey, we're running thumbs down. Well, what if 1 or 2 passes in, a guy's wide open, most dangerous player, go there. See, so I think that's what we need to be, concept-based, careful about being system-based.
You know what? I wanted to tell you something that I learned from you, and I use it to this day. Single gap, double gap, triple gap. Man, those kids will tell you, I'll be in film. What gap is that? That's a single gap. Can you drive in a single gap? No. That's a double. That's cut through. Why did you not drive? Why did you not drive? That is several things I learned from you when you came and worked with us that year, last season. And I still have that stuff recorded on my phone. I was
nice. All things borrowed from me. I've learned from other guys, but that idea of, again, especially if you're flowing or you're just in a attacking in transition or in a continuity or even out of play. Somebody said this the other day. They said, don't forget to grab the gold while you're running plays, or hunt for gold or something like that. Like the whole idea is don't forget to score while you're still running a play. And sometimes you'll see a guy catch it and there's a huge gap and he's a playmaker and he could take it, but he's running action. He's running the action that coach wants. But that idea of passing through single gaps, attacking double gaps, they have to be able to recognize that past level 1, which is that defender right in front of them, and eyes up to level 2, which is where are those defenders? Where's my teammate? That was a fun day, man. I drove away from that going, I can't believe I just got to work with those guys.
Super athletic. I'm talking super athletic. Those run, jump, dunk, shoot, they pretty much, do it all, man. It was just fun learning something new, the terminology that you were using. I picked up on it. I was like, okay, he's right. That's a single gap. You can't drive from that at all.
And we ask them to sometimes, like, be aggressive, attack, make something happen. There's no space. Yeah. Coach Rob Robinson, he is at Maricosta, and he has a shirt, and it says NASA equals buckets, space equals buckets. And that's what that really, I feel like the best offenses the best players understand how to use open space.
That's what the NBA game is based off of, and that's why I say, you know why so many wide open 3-point shots in the NBA? Because of spacing.
Yeah.
3-pointers, helps, everything is spaced. No, it's all running. They're not running box sets and stuff like that offensively. There's no space. Everything is cut, read, react. They take this away. Guess what? Tight curl. And I said, the thing about it is, man, like I love basketball. I love watching college basketball. I like NBA, but I'm just like a super fan of high school basketball. Like I really like watching high school basketball.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.